Sunday Sabbath Day Series. We're here at Talladega Super Speedway, and they're actually not racing the street stocks this week. We're going to be in the Cup cars, doing a nice little cash race. Josh is here with me again for Intensity Broadcasting. Josh, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Joe. How are you tonight?
I'm all right. I'm pretty excited, as you can tell. I was like stuttering through that intro because this is the first super speedway race we get to call, and we've been doing this for how many years?
Got at least 10. I know
Yes.
I've been on iRacing for just over 10 years. I found F&D Racing, raced my first race with TJ Majors, and been hooked on super speedways ever since. So
So the first couple of races I raced with were with a guy named Chris Moss and a guy named Monty Noyes, which you know well, both of those guys. And then in my second week with those guys, we raced with Tony Uri Jr., which was exciting for me. Nobody knew who he was but me because I'm a big race fan, and it was pretty cool to be able to race with him. And then I met you through FND and a bunch of the J team, as we used to call them, guys. And so I'm pretty excited for this race because this is our wheelhouse. We started in super speedway racing, and we're pretty used to calling it and knowing what's going to happen based on what's going on the track.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to this race, especially because it's going to be, I believe, 50 laps, and the pit window is 30 laps. So these guys are going to have to come in for tires. Green flag pit stops are always treacherous on a super speedway. Definitely have to have your brake set right, know your car, but you want to get in there as quick as you can, so you can try to get out as quick as you can, because the spots can be gained extremely well on the pit road here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to see these street stock guys who run street stocks pretty much every time I've ever seen them on track come out here and test the big waters of the big track with a lot of guys in a tight draft. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, these cars are going to handle a lot differently than the street stock cars do for these guys normally. So street stocks are heavy, not very aerodynamic. These cars, even though they're just as heavy, they are aerodynamic. But they got the big spoiler on the back. They got the big splitter on the front. These cars dance around a lot in the air. iRacing's done a really good job at modeling the air on these things, so you'll actually see the cars wiggle back and forth. They're going to bump draft, be able to push. Got to watch your temperatures because you can push these guys just like the old two-car tandems, but you got to watch your temperatures because if you overheat, you will blow it right up.
And it's scary, as you saw in yesterday's race. Pushing too hard will get that guy in front of you out of whack. $15 to enter this race, and looks like they got a bunch of guys. What are we up to car wise? 16 cars, so about half the field they wanted to get. If they got 30 entries, the winners would have taken home 125, 175, 60, and 40 respectively. So hopefully, as we move forward with this series, we can get the full field and get them. But so 16 guys is going to be pretty good. Is a pretty good field. We're used to having about that in our Friday night races, hey.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, absolutely.
So it looks like Michael White's top of the board in lone qualifying with a 51.984.
Yeah, it's unusual to see Ian down outside the top two. so, um,
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to get at. Was like some of these guys don't necessarily do this all the time. Now we did have Ian in a couple of our FND days, and he raced well with us. So
yeah. So I'm going to pop up the results right here, and you can kind of see where everybody's lining up right now. We do have, it looks like two cars that haven't taken times yet. Don't know if they are going to take times or not, but there are two. So right now, Michael White, like you said, has the pole position with a 51.095. David
yeah, they
Duke,
still got about 2 minutes remaining. Not necessarily enough time to get that hot lap in if you haven't started already, which is not looking like they're going to.
yeah, it doesn't look like there's anybody on track at the moment. So, but yeah, so David Duke is going to be starting the outside row here in that 78 car. And then Jory Williams in third. Ian Martin qualifying in fourth. Rod Morris, another Sunday nighter, normal Sunday nighter here in fifth. Patrick McLendon in sixth. Matthew Telder, Dylan Starrent, Bill Watkins, and rounding out the top 10 is John Taylor. And John Ernst, Daniel Keith Jr., John Petra, John Fleeman, Chad Grant, and rounding out the other one that hasn't qualified yet is Steven Sharon. Looks like they're going to be starting in the back, not setting a qualifying time.
So familiar names are John Flamion, Daniel Keith, Bill Watkins. We've seen Ron Morris a bunch. Obviously, Ian Martin and our pole sitter Michael White has also been with us previously on the Super Stock League that I remember since we've been broadcasting. Those are the ones that stand out to me. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. You got a mixed field of what looks like different talents from D class all the way to A, and even a rookie in there with Jory Williams. So should be an interesting run. We'll see what happens. It's a fixed setup, which is different than what we usually do, Josh. So should be pretty even when it comes to cars and what they're going to be able to do.
Absolutely, and not just a mixed field that way, but a mixed field of regulars and new guys. Especially guys like Ian and Michael White and Ron Morse. They run with each other all the time. They know each other's style. They know the moves that they're gonna make. They know how the other person's gonna react to certain situations. When you throw a bunch of guys in here that normally don't race with these guys, it's a recipe for some excitement for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And those guys will probably you'll end up seeing them work together because as you know, it takes a team sometimes to make moves here at Talladega and at Daytona as well. So we'll see what happens here as we get gridded up.
It looks like everybody's just starting to grid up as we speak. So Joe, what are you expecting to see tonight?
Oh man, it's tough to say because I've never seen these guys go here. I know what I want to see, but maybe some patience. I think if they're patient, we're going to see some really good racing toward the end of the race. If they're not patient, we're probably going to see a wreck fest. And as far as I know, they don't have any resets either, right?
No, this league does not run any resets at all. So you know, run hard, run clean, be there at the end. That's going to be the name of the game for sure.
Yeah, and so I think that's going to come with like not taking risks, right? No blocking, give and take, letting people who have runs have those runs. They're not going to be able to get away with it for too long. You're going to be able to draft back up regardless of whether you're by yourself or not. So I think that's the key, Josh. For
Yeah.
too long, you're going to be.
So it looks like the field is now rolling for their first, for their one and only pace lap.
Yeah, and what's crazy? Hopefully, it's their one and only pace lap because the cautions here can be brutal because they take so long. It's one of the only things I never like about super speedway racing when I'm racing it. Is how darn long it takes to sit on the pace lap. But man, I'm getting chills because this is like my first time calling a super speedway race, and I'm freaking excited about it. It's in our wheelhouse. It makes it more exciting for sure.
Absolutely.
Man, that race yesterday at Daytona was a show, and I was gonna go to it. It's only 5 hours from where I'm at, and I wanted to go, but I chose not to, and I really should have went. It would have been awesome to see William Byron's first win.
Absolutely. It was an incredible race last night in the Cup Series. Even the Xfinity Series was a great race last week or this past week. So a lot of excitement in super speedway racing. I missed the Truck Series today at Gateway. I was trying to catch it, but I missed it. But
Yeah, yeah, my dad told me there was like 24 cautions or some crazy stuff on the Xfinity race.
yeah, there wasn't that many, but hey, I got a kick out of the IndyCar race yesterday. I don't know if you caught that at all, but they wrecked coming to the start. They three or four cars wrecked before they even got to the start finish line, and I think it was Rossi said that it reminded him of an iRacing at Michigan race.
Nice. All right, as the packs here coming out of four, we're gonna see the pace car dip off, and remember the start finish line at Talladega is not necessarily where it would be at Daytona. It's a little bit further into the dog leg, so you'll see them wait a bit longer than you normally would.
And green flag is in the air. 15 car Michael White gets a huge jump. There is no waiting on the green flag. As soon as you're ready to go, you can go.
And he got it. He got a good jump out to the front here. Looks like they're going to single file up, most of them. Got one guy hung out on the outside there for a second.
Yep, that is David Duke stuck on the outside all by himself. Michael White, Jory Williams, Ian Martin, all lined up. They're going to have the momentum to push him back, as the rest of the field's pretty much broken up. So these guys are going to try to get single file. Another car jumps up to the high side. That looks like the 76 of Ron Morris. So he's trying to get that. I'm take that back. It's the 02 of Matthew Telder. He's going to try to get up there and help David Duke. Oh, David Duke's going to pull down, though. Looks like in front of Ian Martin.
Yeah, looks like he wanted to get back in line. David Duke's going to get in line, so the 02 is going to stay on that outside line by himself. These guys are giving him a lot of air, though. Every time they come off the corner, they're pushing. Josh, that's a normal thing here at Talladega, a little bit of push off the corner, right?
Yeah, especially with low air pressure. iRacing does a great job of modeling air pressure. So as the tires are low, you are going to start to get that little bit of a push up off.
It looks like we get another taker on the outside line, maybe another couple back behind are going to help out that upside line. We might see some a little bit more intense and closer racing here as that outside line gets organized.
Yeah, it looks like a little further back in the pack. Got some 2x2 racing. Ian Martin falling back a little bit. The 16
One of the things we saw yesterday at Daytona was some side draft action. Does that work in iRacing, Josh?
Oh, absolutely. You can get right on the bumper, slow that right on the right side where that spoiler is, dump all the air on the spoiler. Definitely slow that car down in front of you.
Looks like we got about a 6-car push on the outside line now, lined up, ready to go.
Yeah, big wiggle out of the 16 car there, too, coming off the corner. Just looked like he got a little loose with it, a little too much wheel in it. And that's going to kill all his momentum and send him to the back. Everybody's going to try to avoid him as he just gets freight trained.
Yeah, looks like they're going to single file this thing up. They're actually racing pretty clean, giving each other a lot of room right now, from what I'm used to seeing. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody's just kind of feeling each other out right now, too. Kind of seeing, how everybody's racing. 02 pushes up the track a little bit right there, you see. And again, that's typical. You lose the air off the front of the car, it just pushes you right up the track.
Yep. And Michael White's going to lead this thing right back to the stripe again, and we're going to head into turn 1. And we're going to see that, the 02's trying to make a run on the outside by himself again now.
Yep, and we got a bunch of 2-wide racing in the back of the pack. It looks like the outside and inside line are starting to really form up towards the rear. And it looks like they might be able to get something together here and get themselves up towards the front if they can get all lined up.
Yeah, that bottom line has a lot of space in between each other. If these guys tighten it up on that outside line, they're going to be moving. But looks like everybody's kind of still, like you said, feeling themselves out, figuring out who can hold a line and who can't. That's one of the big things about super speedway racing is being able to hold a line in a tight situation.
And we're on board right now with Chad Grant, and you can hear him really feathering the throttle too.
Yeah, lots of lifting being done. A lot of, like we were talking about before the race, me and you, before we went live, was it's going to take a lot of give and take and a lot of allowing people to get their runs and let them go. You want to be there at the end. You don't have a chance of winning one of these unless you're there at the end. This fixed setup looks really loose on entry. That's what it looks like to me. How about you, Josh?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the nice thing is everybody's fighting the same thing. You don't have one guy who's out there driving a Cadillac and somebody else that's out there driving on ice. So everybody's got the same thing. Oh, big wiggle out of the 02 car right there. As looked like he was trying to side draft, and maybe the 78 came up just a little bit, spooked him, and got him all out of shape.
Yeah, absolutely. And, another thing is you can set a couple of things that will help you handle these cars a little bit different than the other driver, right, Josh? What can we change? If it's a fixed setup, what can you change that might change the way you drive it?
Really, the only thing you can change is your steering ratio. Some guys like a real fast gearbox. Some people like a little slower gearbox, especially at a track like Talladega. I know a lot of guys run 14-1, even 16-1 at this track. I myself, I like a fast box. I usually run 8-1 or 10-1. I use 8-1 in qualifying, 10-1 in race, and a lot of people
Yeah,
think I'm nuts for that.
I'm with you. That's what I run. I run 8-1 in Q and 10-1 in race trim, and I think I just want to be able to make moves when I need to. I don't want to have to put a lot of steer wheel into it.
Yep. It looks like the 76 of Ron Morris is making some headway up on the top side there. Though you see David Duke jump up to the outside. It also looks like they're 3 wide up at the front now.
3 wide for the lead, heading down the backstretch into 3.
And the 19 car, Jory Williams, saw the momentum coming on the outside, decided to jump up there. And unfortunately, it looks like they're starting to go a little bit backwards. We've got one car with a connection issue as he dumps down to the bottom, right down in front of, looks like David Duke.
We've talked about issues with blinking and connection issues. Is it necessarily internet or no?
It could be a number of things. It could be internet. It could be an overloaded graphics card. It could be a RAM issue. Unfortunately, it's something that we have to deal with in iRacing. iRacing basically doesn't know where that car is on the track. It's trying to guess as best it can, but it doesn't know. Usually the common courtesy when you have an issue like that is just to drop to the back of the pack. I imagine these guys are hollering on the radio to him to get off the track.
Yeah, he should dump down here on the apron and at least fall to the back and ride for now.
Yeah, sometimes those things kind of straighten themselves up after a while too. So.
Right. And
you
don't want to. You don't want to lose somebody from the race, but.
Yeah, actually, it looks like he just pulled on the pit road.
Gotcha.
So.
Maybe he's going to take an early pit. See, maybe an early pit strategy will help him. It'd be a stretch to go 42 laps, though.
We also have one other car. The 14 car has lost the pack. He's looks like about 4 seconds behind. As these guys continue to run 2x2x2 up at the front, I think they're starting to figure out how each other runs. And
yeah, they're starting to tighten this thing up now. We're going to start seeing some more aggressiveness out of them. We still got a lot of moving around on that bottom line. It makes me a little nervous, but.
As they come through the tri-oval here, and the other thing with the tri-oval here is that first bottom lane is very flat. As you see, a big move to the outside from Michael White, trying to get around David Duke. Because that bottom line in the tri-oval is just so flat, you couldn't really lose the car. It gets real loose down there.
Yeah, and there's a really awesome bump that likes to send people to the apron as well, just as you're coming out of the tri-oval onto that flat spot. You can feel it in the wheel and everything. It's fun. I enjoy it. I drive on it, so hopefully the person behind me wrecks on it.
Now everybody's kind of taking that bottom line. 3 cars on the top side, really separated, really no momentum out there.
Yeah, and David Duke's still leading this thing.
Yes, he is.
Jory Williams, Dylan Sartain, Daniel Keith's just made a move to the 3rd spot now. He's on the outside line, it looks like.
Yep. There's a big push there. Michael White got into the back of the, looks like the 23 of Daniel Keith. And it looks like it upset his car, and he had to check up and get out of it.
Yeah, the 15's dropping like a rock. That's Michael White, and looks like he's going to fall in line. It looks like everybody might be getting a little bit antsy about how the cars are moving around. Maybe get in line and ride this thing out till pits. I think this race is going to be won on pit road, Josh. That's what I think.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
It's pretty difficult getting onto pit road. And we're on board with Michael White now. New awesome roof cam that Josh implemented. Nice little shake to it, giving you that realistic feel as we head down the backstretch at Talladega. Look, the what is that? The 12 is going to jump out on the outside line and see what he can do.
Yeah, Chad Grant jumps out there all by himself, and you'll see he's just going to go backwards because he's got nobody out there to help him. But the big thing you want to see is the speed difference. As they were going through 1 and 2, they were 197. Coming through 3 and 4, they got the headwind, so they only reached about 193. But through this tri-oval, they're starting to get that tailwind. And you'll see 201, 202 into turn 1.
Which is a lot of the reason they're probably loose on entry, is that tailwind's pushing them beyond what they're used to actually entering the corner as. 201. Awesome high speeds here at Talladega. Yeah, I went to Talladega last year, Josh, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
It's definitely on my bucket list for sure.
There's nothing like it. I've been to Daytona, I've been to Watkins Glen, I've been to Richmond, I've been to Chicagoland, I've been a lot of places, but so far, there's nothing like it.
So you got Jory Williams right behind Davey Duke, giving him a good push, and you're starting to see the separation between the first 2 cars, or 3 cars. Because when he can stay right on that bumper, oh, looks like he's got to get out of it. He might be getting a little hot, a little water temperature, oil temperature coming up. He's got to get some air to the front end so he doesn't blow the engine.
Yeah, you can do that for like what, about a half a lap, maybe a lap and a half, before you start really pushing that temperature up too high for any liking.
Yeah, it depends how you run. Yeah, typically about a 3/4 of a lap to about 2 laps if you're really good at it. You feather the throttle, show a little bit of nose, keep some air to the front end. You can make some time up. You see Ron Morris in that Dale Jr. style paint job.
Yeah, Ron's making moves on that outside line. He's moving up to 4th now on that outside line. Got a nice little train behind him. They're making moves. We'll see if they can make a pass here going through. What are we in? 1 and 2 now.
Yep, a couple Mountain Dew cars all lined up.
Call them the yellow number 5s.
As they come down. I thought they were going to look like the 38 car was going to make it 3 wide for just a second, but he thought better of it.
Yeah, a little bit too much swaying around to really get a good run there. The guys behind him.
And we got Ian Martin just riding around in the back right now.
I think Ian's playing that smart game. Maybe a little fuel saving. You know, the less fuel you spend, the less you got to put in, right?
Absolutely. But not just that, if there is any kind of accident up there, at least he'd be able to see it, react to it quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
The view from Ian Martin's car right now, as you can see, the whole pack in front of him. But he's just hanging on to the lead, or hanging on to the tail end of the pack here. So, oh, big wreck. Oh, we're on board with Michael White.
Michael White into the outside wall.
See if we can see what happened here. Oh, a little contact with the 78.
Didn't realize they were as wide as they were, I don't think. It's one of those things, Josh, where you expect, because you're only 2 wide, that the guy's going to be on the bottom line. And I think that might have been what happened. Maybe a little bit of push up as well at the same time. Can we go back to that?
Yeah, it looks like he just got turned from behind. Who was it there that got into him? That would be the... Yeah, looks like the 23 just kind of came up and...
Yeah, it looked like 23 was kind of in no man's land. He had the bottom to be there. And like I was saying before, if you're on the top side and you're only 2 wide, your expectation is that the person's riding the yellow line. And maybe they just didn't realize, you know, in your in-car camera, you can look at it. You don't really have the view of how far down that car may or may not be. So it's tough to judge at times when they're running that kind of line. But hard into the outside wall. That's going to end the day for a lot of these guys. Pretty positive we don't have any resets, so.
Looks like everybody's going to come down pit road.
Yeah, it's a good time to get fuel. I mean, if you're smart here, you can probably stretch it to 33 or 32 laps. Get tires, Josh, or no?
I would take at least one side, either left or right side. It would be beneficial.
I think you take both of them. It's such a small pack. You'll be able to work your way to the front anyways. That loss of time's not a big deal, especially under caution. And one car rolled through its pit, had to back up.
Yeah, a lot of action down here on pit road.
So our pole sitter, Michael White, looks like he's going to be in pit getting optional repairs done for a while. Who else we got on pit road, Josh, trying to repair? And is there anybody who's disconnected or left?
I don't think anybody's left just yet. Actually, the 24 car is 7 laps down. So,
Yeah, he was our blinker. That was the guy who
yep, so I think
slid off early.
So I think he called it quits for the night.
Bill Watkins just came off pit road. Looked like he might have had some repairs to get done. Michael White's still on pit road. John Flamion, who's now rolling as well.
Yep, Chad Grant, Daniel Keith, Michael White still on. Yep, so John Flamion just pulled off. I don't think that car is going to be too competitive with the looks of it.
No, but you never know. A lot of these other guys might wreck out, and you might have a chance at some cash anyways. So.
Well, one thing is for sure. He's definitely not going to have any cooling issues.
Yeah, that is true. Definitely no cooling issues. The engine will be nice and cool. Hey, at least he's still rolling. That's better than he can say for,
Yeah, absolutely.
Jimmy Johnson. Is that too soon?
Too soon. Too soon. I'm not a Johnson fan, but that's
I know.
too soon.
I felt bad. I thought he was crying. I think he was crying in the interview, but
Can you blame him? I mean, realistically.
no, not at all.
Blame him?
Not at all. Not at all.
And it looks like another car is just rolling off the pits at the moment.
Looks like that was Chad Grant, maybe?
Another car out there. It looks like one of those Northeastern modifieds.
Yeah, so it's Chad Grant getting his modified back out on track. Could have a nice little race with those guys back there. You never know.
You never know, yeah. Oh. Somebody just...
What happened?
It looked like somebody just ran into the back of somebody else under yellow. Just wasn't paying attention and...
Oh yeah, the one ran into the back of the 14.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, the 14's definitely got some damage to that back end. So.
Which really isn't going to hurt him, but that's Ian Martin in the one. I wonder how much damage he just got to his front end. And that's easy to do here. I mean, pace speed is so slow after you've been running so fast. Sometimes
yeah, and you're looking for your beer.
You could be changing, making an adjustment, checking some, where everybody is on the track.
Well, that's one benefit to iRacing, by the way. You can drink and drive. Nobody can yell at you. You're real good at it. All right, Josh. So we've seen some feeling out. We saw a little bit of racing. We saw some cars starting to make some moves, and we saw a little misjudgment that caused what we would call the big one at Talladega. And so now we got a couple of cars who aren't going to be on pace because they're super damaged, but we're going to still have some pretty good racing up front, I would say, with Jory Williams, David Duke, Greg Petrea, John Taylor, Matthew Telder, Steven Shannon, Dylan Sartain, Ian Martin, if he didn't just damage himself.
And the pace car is off. And Jory Williams gets a jump. Looks like David Duke's going to follow him down. As the green flag is back in the air. Big jump to the front, these front guys up here. And how much is that going to hurt them getting that big of a jump?
So, I mean, we saw the beginning of the race, they didn't really have any issues. So, I mean, if it's me, I let him get that run by himself, and then I find the teammate behind me to push me past him while he's standing still, because by then he would be dead slow compared to me. But it looks like they're going to get hooked up here up at the front. They might actually run away with this thing, Josh, if they get lined up right.
Yeah, it looks like the whole field is really spread out at the moment. I think that restart really caught him off guard.
So the 22 stayed high, which might have been a mistake. If he slides down and those 4 go, man, they could have been gone. But it looks like it'll bunch them back up now that the 22 stayed outside. Those 2 at the front are looking real solid and fast. So
yeah, they've definitely been to the classes of field tonight for sure.
Yeah, David Duke's been at the front of this thing pretty much the whole race, at least either in first or second, and with Michael
Oh, we
earlier.
got a
But
lap car. Oh,
that was what we call a bonehead move, and the caution's out.
see if we can really see what happened right there. It looks like he didn't know. The 14 didn't know there was a car slow when. That took out 3 cars right there. The 02 of Matthew Tedder, the 14.
Yeah, so can we go back and kind of go on board with the car that was slow, Josh? Can we do that?
Absolutely.
I want to see what happened there, and why he was so slow on track. I mean, that's a huge speed difference.
It looks like he just came out of the pits.
Yeah, but he should have been at least a bit up to speed. Can we see his speed?
Yeah, he was just about 70 miles an hour as he was coming onto the backstretch, right at the blend cone. Yeah, he was only about 65 miles an hour before he got hit.
Sounded to me like he was just riding around in second gear right there.
It's unfortunate for a lot of guys. The 14 car, the 02 car. Looks like
I'm not sure.
Looks like they were the
Not
only
sure
3
what
cars involved.
I'm not sure what the purpose of that might have been, but did he? You know, I mean, you could break your shifter, I guess.
I mean, these cars do have the that fast transmission where you don't need a clutch to get it in gear. So it's tough to say. Because like with the Mazda Miatas or even the new 1978, 87 cars, if you don't use the clutch, you're not going anywhere. But it just sounded like he couldn't get it in gear for whatever reason. But
I'm not gonna speculate, but there can also be reasons for people to do stuff like that. So
absolutely. But fortunately, it looks like we got quickie yellows on, so everybody gets the pit. So all cars with quickie yellows, what that means is all cars get the pit at the same time, instead of just having to wait for lap cars to have their own pit cycle. Lead lap cars and lap cars can all pit together, so that drastically improves the pacing time here at tracks like Talladega, Daytona, Pocono. And,
yeah, it removes 1 or 2 pace laps based on the field.
Yep. If there's anybody a lap down, all the lap cars can pit together. The lucky dog pits on his own lap, and then it's 1 to go. So definitely takes a lot of the pace laps away. But I'm expecting the same kind of restart. And I wonder if everybody here is going to be expecting that too. As soon as the pace car pulls off, basically just going.
I mean, based on what you just saw, that's you have to be ready for that now. It's like Ian Martin's on the backstretch by himself now. I don't know if he had some damage. I think he probably had some damage from the first wreck. I know he definitely had to go into pit if he's that far back. So the 76, the 38, and the 02 are now on track, coming through 1 and 2 as well.
Yeah, we're looking at Ian Martin's front end right now, and he's got a little bit of damage on the front of that. Doesn't look too bad.
Not too bad, but it'll definitely drive you a little bit slower, for sure. What about the 76, 38, and the 2 who are all on the backstretch now, too? And there's the 88. He's looking pretty clean.
Yep, that's the 76 of...
Let's see. Yeah, it's
Ron Morris.
Ron Morris, yeah. He's using the custom numbers, rocking the 88 on track.
So that doesn't look too bad.
How about his right rear? I know he was in that first wreck into the wall.
He's got a little rear damage, but shouldn't hurt him too much. Let's see, it looks like they're double file. Lights are off on the pace car. So we'll be going back to green.
Still got about 4 cars on pit road, right?
Yes. Yeah, it looks like the 93 is still on pit road. The 14 is currently on pit road. So, unfortunate day for a couple of these guys. And that's the thing about super speedway racing is you just never know. You know, you could be trying to ride around in the back and still get caught up in something that has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Yeah, take Ryan Newman yesterday, for example. He stayed out of everything, and he just happened to be a victim of circumstance.
Yep, that's a great example right there.
The standing ovation he got when he got out of the car was awesome, too.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, coming out of 4, we should see the pace car here dip off.
Yep, pace car is in. Let's see what kind of jump Joy Williams gets this time.
Looks like he's kind of holding them up this time a little bit. A little gamage.
A little bit. And there they go. Green flag is in the air. And he gets out to a big jump.
Yeah, he definitely put the hammer down that time.
Yep. Now, unfortunately, he's the only one out there. So that's going to hurt him quite a bit.
So this is what I was talking about. If these guys do it right, they're going to take him on the outside and go right by him like he's standing still. I bet you these guys are watching the broadcast and heard us talking about it last time.
Yep.
Looks like David Duke and...
Yeah, here they go. And you can see the closing rate there.
John Taylor.
Oh, he's going to throw the block. He's going to try to block and...
Yeah, that ain't going to work.
No, it's not going to work. And that's a good
Oh. I thought the 4 was going to slide in behind him, but he's not going to. They're going to go outside. But they got help coming on the inside line. They got to make this thing fast. They got to make this move.
Yep, here comes the 4 of John Taylor. Giving a push to David Duke now. It looks like they're going to clear him.
Oh, yep. They definitely cleared.
Yep.
A great run by those 2. The 22 looks like he fell off. Couldn't handle the draft there.
And you've got the 22 there of Greg Petrie. He's going backwards with no help whatsoever.
Yeah, and Bill Watkins and John Ernst are going to come up on that inside line. See what they can do now that they get back in the mix here.
Back up to the front here as they come through the tri-oval. And we're just past halfway.
Just past halfway. We got 5 cars that look like they're up to speed together. 6 cars now.
We'll jump on the blimp here, and that's the whole field right there. Just
Yeah, Ian's hanging off the back there, I think, in 7th.
And those are the cars that are up to speed. That doesn't mean there's not other races on the track going on right now. Just those are the ones that are up to speed. It looks like the Greg Petra is going to try to get that outside lane working again, but he's got no one to go with him.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are kind of content, maybe just riding and finding their way to the end of this thing, and you'll see in the last couple of laps, I think they're going to start making some racing moves and see what happens then.
I mean, the only thing he can do in terminology we use in super speedway racing is island hop, which is where you get a good run on somebody, get around one car, drop in, get a good run on the next car, get around one car, drop in, and you get one position at a time. Usually it takes about 2 laps to get one position, but you can do it and get yourself up there if you know how to work the draft and work that side draft.
Yeah, now you notice that they're running the low line, and we saw in yesterday's race the high line is clearly one of the faster lines unless the bottom line is organized well.
Correct, and on iRacing you can do that. You can run the whole pack up against the wall just like they do in real life. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't feel comfortable up at the wall like they do on TV. In NASCAR, those guys are so much more used to running up there that a lot of guys they get up near the wall and they get scared.
Yeah, so it's like opposite, right? Because you're not scared. In NASCAR, you'd be less scared, I think, closer to the wall, because if you hit the wall, you're just going to sit on the wall.
Correct.
Whereas if you're on the bottom line and you wreck, you're going into the wall at high speed.
Yep, it looks like the 19 of Joey Williams just jumped up to the outside. He saw the momentum coming.
Yeah, he wasn't content with how those guys passed him, so he's gonna give them the business here and see what they can do. The 22's falling off again in the turns. I don't know if he's lifting or what's going on there, but
yeah, Jory saw the run that John Ernest and the 22 were coming with, so he figured he'd jump up there, try to take that momentum, see if he can get himself back to the lead. But yeah, that 22 car followed all the way to the back of the pack.
I'd go up there and help him push if it was me, Josh. You know, I'm a highline guy. That's where I like to be.
That highline can make up a lot of ground. If you get a couple guys up there who know what they're doing and can push, that highline can make up a ton of ground.
Now, it is a longer way around, but it also keeps the car wound up a little bit more than you would on the lower line.
Yeah, and you're using less wheel. You're using less tires. Your handle's better a little bit up there, too.
Maybe that's why I like it. I feel a little safer.
But yeah, as they're trying to get those two cars to hook up together and get around the 78 of Duke.
You can see the 4 is doing a little bit of side drafting, grabbing that right rear. Yep. Oh, he lost his draft, though.
Yep, and there goes Joey Wilson to the lead. Doing that little slide down and leaving his help. John Ernest was a good pusher right there, and he just dumped him.
I think I would have stayed up there with John and helped him get by the other guys here, too. Because now you got a fast car behind you and a guy who definitely can push him. We've seen it happen already. I would bet you'd see those guys jump out here, right here. Nope. They're going to stay in. It's tucked behind him.
Yeah, it was just under 20 laps to go. And I believe these guys are pretty good on fuel. They had a couple yellows and they pit, so they should be able to make it to the end no problem.
Yeah, I think they're good on fuel, and they're going to be coming up on some lap traffic here pretty quick. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that lap traffic again, based on the last time we hit lap traffic. Takes a lot of communication, letting those guys know you're coming. Sometimes when you're the slow guy, you don't realize how fast the train's coming behind you. Choo choo!
Now we're riding on board with Greg Creature. Just working that high line and just going backwards. I don't know if he's got some damage, if he's got an issue, or he's just trying to save it to the end, trying to see how it plays out.
I think this fixed setup they're running just a little bit looser than maybe some of the guys are used to, based on how they're swaying back and forth.
Yeah, and Ian with a big jump to the outside. Yeah, you can hear him definitely backing out, getting into the corner. There was a big lift there as he was going into the corner.
And maybe that's what he's just a little bit nervous about how loose that thing is. I've had that before in these cars, depending on the setup. That little feeling where you're like, lift.
Where
Well,
you
I like this car.
Yeah, now we're on board with Phil Watkins, and you can hear the difference. He's not letting up. He's wide open all the way around the track.
Hammer down.
They're coming up on some lap traffic. But this one seems to be staying high for him, letting them all by. That's Ron Morris that they're going by right now, so very respectful, giving him the low line.
Oh, so Ron did have enough damage that's causing him a bit of problems, I guess.
Yeah.
We talked about him before that last green flag and it didn't look so bad, but I guess we were wrong.
But Ian Williams making that top line, or sorry, Ian Martin making that top line work. Starting to make some moves. I know he's got John Ernst behind him, and we know John can push.
Yeah, that's a force to be reckoned with there, those two. If they start getting hooked up here, I think even Ian will probably even stay up and let John come with him if they go. But I think Ian's trying to get the 16 to pump up here in front of him. I don't think Ian has the card. Oh, we're gonna go 3 wide.
A little lap traffic here.
I think the damage to Ian's car is too much for him to actually get a good run by himself out there.
Yeah, he'd be better off getting behind someone and pushing them.
For sure. And I think that's what he's trying to do is get that Little Caesar's car up in front of him here and give him a shove.
Absolutely, because when you have the front end damage like that, it's all aerodynamic, and if you're leading, you're not going to be able to cut through the air as well. But you could push somebody else because there's no air to cut through when you're behind somebody.
Right. I think David Duke's managing his temperatures. I'm watching him push the crap out of the leader, but then he'll jump out and let it breathe. See him breathing it there.
Yeah, you see him just off the corner there, just slide a little high.
Yep, so he's going to push him here, and then you'll see him jump out. Oh. Yeah, it's really easy to hook somebody. Yeah, he's getting air there. See that? It's real easy to hook somebody when you're pushing them like that, too.
Absolutely, and that's an experienced super speedway racer right there. Push on the straights, get some air, back off in the corner, get back that run coming off the corner. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and David Duke's a licensed driver. He's he's probably been around for a while now. Along with John Ernst and Ian Martin, all 3 of them are A licensed drivers. It's not an easy feat to do in iRacing anymore. It's not difficult. It takes time, but it used to be really easy.
But license class doesn't have everything to do with it, because right now we've got a rookie leading this.
True that. No, I mean, it doesn't tell you how good somebody is, but it definitely tells you if they've put in some hours.
Absolutely. But Ian and John Ernst back there just trying to make that high line work, trying to get someone to go with them, get 3 cars up there, get some speed.
I think that damage that Ian's got on that front end is holding them back big time.
Yeah, it just looks like the 22 car just isn't comfortable. He can't really get up there and help. He wants to, but it just seems like he's just a little too loose, and the car just doesn't feel comfortable to him.
Looks like the 4 is ready to jump outside. I think he's been thinking about it. I think if he did that, he'd pull Ian right to him, and I think that'd be a good run for them.
Absolutely. I think he's just waiting for the Ian and John to get up there a little bit more. Once they get a little bit closer and have some more energy, he might jump up on there. But it looks like Ernst is going to take the bottom side now and go around Ian.
Yeah, I think they're realizing he just doesn't have the speed with the damage he's got on the front of that thing. Now they flip-flopped. We'll see what happens.
Yep, now the entire field is single file. Well, now Ernst is going to take the outside by himself, and it could also be he was just warm from pushing Ian.
That's true
He
too.
wanted that fresh air, and nobody's going to tuck back down.
He needs Ian to drive right up on that bumper before they make a run on the outside.
Oh, Ian looking to the outside again, and Ian with that front bumper damage. I wonder if he'd have issues pushing. Sometimes the bumpers don't line up when they're damaged like that.
Maybe it just felt a little pushy too.
It's true, but here comes now the 22's coming. Maybe he's cooled those tires off, cooled the car off, and wants to make something happen.
Nope, still a big lift in the corner.
Yep,
You can see him fall off there.
You see that 4-car wash up the track. I don't know if he just washed up trying to give Ian a run or what, but you're right. It looks like he's getting ready to get going. I mean, this time when they come by the stripe this time, it's going to be 10 to go.
Yeah, with 10 to go, that's like go time. It's like no more single file running. We need to make something happen. There's only 7 of us. Yeah, that was a huge, huge move.
Ian with the slide in.
And John lifted for sure. You can see he backed off way off. But Ian's leaning on that guy in front of him there, the 16 of Bill Watkins. But John jumped to the outside now.
Yeah, and here comes that 22. It looks like he's starting to get a little bit of a run now.
Ian jumps up to help.
Yep, now you got 3
cars. Like he's going to 3-car push on the outside coming down the backstretch.
And typically you need 3 cars to make something happen out there. If those 3 cars can get formed up out there, or even if the 4-car can jump up there with them.
I think the 4 is going to. I think he's waiting. Maybe not. Could be wrong.
No.
If he was going to do... Oh, there it is. There's somebody. Oh, but Ian dumps the top line to try to slide into that 3rd slot there.
Yep.
On the low side.
But I think
those 2 working together in the outside is going to be a force to be reckoned with, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like John Erst had enough momentum to get up there and give a big push to Jory Williams as he's... Excuse me, David Duke, as he's now... oh! Wow. He was loose. That thing was slideways for sure. He had to get out of it, keep from wrecking, and that's going to drag everybody on that top row back.
You better patent that word, slideways.
I can't.
I love
it. It's an old Benny Parsons phrase.
Nice. I like it.
And now it looks like David Duke's going to slide back into the 4th spot behind Ian.
So he jumped out of 2nd, no help. Slides back in 4th. Yep. Looks like Ian's going to take the inside here.
Yeah, he's got a push now too, as the 4-car's got some momentum on the outside. But Ian's going to get right on the back of Jory here and try to give him a push by. Yeah, 4-car's got no help. He's just going to get freight trained on the outside. It looks like John Erst is coming with some help along with the 22 of Greg Petra, but a little too late right now. Let's see if they can get hooked up and get something going, as we're coming 6 laps to go.
That's a wild move. I think the 4 slipped up just a little bit, gave Ian just that little, and he took it. And that'll going to cost the 4 some spots here moving toward the finish of this race. But here they come back on the outside.
Yeah, and it's a move you got to make. I mean, you can't blame someone. If someone shows you the inside, you're going to take it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. As long as my car can fit and the hole is there.
Now, if it was lap 10, I wouldn't expect that move to be made.
Right.
But like you said, it's go time.
These 2 on the outside are in sync with each other pretty well. They're not really going anywhere, but they're definitely looking good.
Oh, and Ian with an inside move down on the apron. I don't know if he got shoved down there or he slides up the track a little bit. And
yep, he definitely did. He definitely did get shoved down there.
And he just got into the back of the 19 and he got a little loose and he holds on to it.
They all held on to it.
But that's going to let these guys at the front just break away, as now they're catching some lap traffic up here. This
they're not very They're not very organized up here, though. Oh, man, that was close.
That's John Ernst. John Ernst
The
there.
ladder almost took out John Ernst. That was scary. Yeah. So they're running side by side, and they should be following each other. Otherwise, these guys are going to be able to get caught back up, I think, Josh.
Yeah, because there's 5 to go.
Still a lot of time at a super speedway.
Yeah, but there is nobody near him. Ian Martin's the next car behind him, and he's pretty much by himself, 2.5 seconds behind.
Okay.
But that 19 of Jory Williams is coming. I don't think he's too happy at the moment.
Yeah, I didn't really catch what happened. I was paying attention to the other cars when that all went down, so I'm not exactly sure what happened between him and Ian. But I think they're gonna be able to catch those guys, Josh, if they get hooked up.
Yeah, these guys are racing hard up here at the front.
Yeah, but there's nobody's drafted anybody. It's three wide across, back and forth, back and forth. Now the 4 is lined up.
And now Jory Williams and Ian Martin now are drafting each other. Looks like Jory's going to try to go around Ian. Hope he's going to fall back in line.
And we already know Ian's a little bit slower because of that damage, but let's see if we can check out the intervals and see if he's making any ground up.
Right now, they are almost 5 seconds back. And they're losing time. So it looks like it's just going to come down to these 3.
Yeah, they're about 2 seconds off the pace with Ian pushing there.
A little more lap traffic. Ron Moore's going to stay to the high side. Looks like the 22, though, is going to try to get a little draft off him as he goes by.
Smart move.
3 wide.
I like it. I like it. Maybe Ron can get in there and help him. Maybe not.
Well, looks like he's got a little bit of a draft. It looks like he's coming back just a little bit. As we're coming to 2 to go when they cross the stripe this time.
John Ernst at the point. 2 to go. John Taylor and Greg Petrea behind him. Greg Petrea has been cautious all night, and it's clearly worked out for him. So that's not a bad thing. He might have a chance here if these other 2 get a little too racy.
Yeah, and you know, realistically, John Ernst is not in the position you normally want to be in. Normally, you want to be, you know, that second place car so you can get that slingshot and that run.
Yeah, the 22 is definitely looking to the outside. He wants the 4 to jump out there, and he wants to push him by him. And I think the 4 is probably going to take that guy up on this next lap. As we come to the white flag, 1 to go. One more time around.
And 22 looks to the inside. Oh, he's forced down the apron. They're going to try to go 3 wide on the apron. 22 slides up. Oh.
That ain't going to work. That is not going to work. But what that's going to do is going to give the 4 a heck of a run coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, here they come down. Again, where that location of that start-finish line is, this race is not over by any means.
Well, that's what it was designed for.
Yeah, as he's got the run on the outside, he's going to side draft. He wins it.
He wins it.
Chuck
What a win.
Taylor coming with the slingshot.
Congratulations, John Taylor, on a heck of a finish. Wild finish. Can we go back and replay that coming to the line, Josh?
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and... As you can see, ooh, You can see he sets him up perfectly coming off of turn 4. Gets that slingshot. Jumps to the outside.
Huge momentum. He's going to even give him a little side draft here,
Yep, and
right
here comes the
there.
side drafts. Right here, slow him down and take the win. Just like that.
Awesome finish.
And you can see the run he gets. And just like that, he takes the win. What a race, Joe.
Dude, that was an awesome race. I wish a couple of the more cars would have probably been there at the end, but all in all, having a finish like that is well worth it.
Absolutely. Oh, I thought it was John Taylor burning it down, but it was actually Michael White burning it down.
Yeah, where is John Taylor? Is he burning it down? Did he give
No,
us a show?
he looks like he already disconnected. But yeah, it doesn't look like we have any of the top 3 in our waiting room up there for interviews.
No, we sure don't. You want to maybe grab Ian and see what his thoughts were with that incident with the 19?
Yeah, we'll pull him in. Hey, Ian, Josh up in the booth. How you doing tonight?
Not too good.
Yeah, we saw the aggressive move there, and I know it just didn't work out. What you see from your view there?
Well, when we were up there battling for the lead, I personally think the 19 just came down on me. Came down on me twice, really, in that whole straightaway. That ruined the chances of winning there. So, what happened on the back straightaway, I don't really care about. I was blocking him. He didn't lift, turn me. But, I mean, I was blocking him, so I guess I deserve to get turned. So, whatever.
I gotcha. So you had an incident early in the race, I think under caution, maybe where you ran in the back of somebody. Is that what caused the damage to your ride, or was it from the wreck?
Yeah, so after the first caution, they checked up on coming to the green, and I ran it into the back of Steven, and that gave me a little bit of damage, but that wasn't the main problem. This is when the second wreck happened, when that guy pitted out, and then he money shifted it right in front of the whole field. Um, that's when I got my damage. I dodged the wreck and then had to lock it down because it was just too loose from weaving through the traffic and
When you say
the wall.
he money shifted it, what do you mean by he money shifted it?
Well, I went and watched the replay under caution, and from what I could tell from the in car, it looked like he shifted down in the first gear. From what I could tell.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely saw him ream out at 70 miles an hour. I'm not sure what gear he was in. We didn't really look at that, but yeah, it was definitely suspicious at least.
Yeah, I've gotten a message from him already. He said he just didn't see the leaders coming, and then he money shifted it in front of everybody. So it just sucks for everybody caught up in it. And then what happened to me sucks. Just ruined my race, really. But it's all good. It's what happens in racing.
Yep, it is definitely one of those things. We got the third place in here now, Josh. Oh, he just left. Never mind.
Yep. But overall, an exciting race. Hopefully, you guys continue to run these super speedway races. It was entertaining for us for sure.
Yep, I think the winner's getting in there. Yeah, I think he's in general now. That's John in the
Johnny,
general
we're gonna
waiting room.
let's pull
Cool.
John,
Yep.
let's pull Johnny in here. Hey Johnny, Josh and Joe in the booth. You got us?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Congratulations on the win.
Hey, thank you. That was a pretty good race there, and got fortunate everybody kept it clean up front there at the end.
Yeah, you were riding around in third place, and I kept telling Josh here in the booth that I thought you were in the catbird seat. You had that spot, and I thought you were going to jump up to the top line a couple of times, but you were patient enough to just run it on the outside line on that last lap. Would anybody you like to thank or anything?
I liked Ian there for the first invite. I've raced these guys a couple times. Enjoy coming out and just enjoying to be part of the group here.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again on the win. Uh, Hope to see you guys back again next week. Uh, Ian, are we going to be running the same track in car next week, or are we going back to street stocks?
Might run Daytona, but definitely going to be running one of the NASCARs. I don't know if we're going to run Cup. Might be Xfinity or trucks, but it's definitely going to be a super speedway race for sure.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Well, Joe, anything you'd like to add tonight?
No, man, I had a great time calling this as our first super speedway race together. Like I said before, me and Josh have like 9 years, 10 years experience running these things, so it's real cool to see you guys get out there and run them together. Um, yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. Well, again, this was the Sabbath series brought to you by the ISSL. And I'm Josh Hall. That's Joe Wright. And we are signing off.